So let us begin with the class today. Today, this is the afternoon class of 3rd of August, chapter Structure of the Atom. In the morning class, I just explained you regarding the postulates of the Bohr's model of an atom and just reading out the principle, Heisenberg's principle. Okay. Now, going into detail, okay, have a look at the Bohr's model of an atom. An atom spherical. Okay, now electrons are there in various orbitals. Okay, r1, r2, r3 is there. Okay, now when electrons are revolving around the nucleus, then there is a movement, there is an angular momentum which is being possessed by the electrons. And please note that this angular momentum is quantized. It is quantized. The symbol for angular momentum is Ln, MVR, angular product mass and velocity of the electron. That is equal to nh by 2 pi. Nh by 2 pi. Okay. And here in this formula, to get the radius of the nth orbit, it is h square by 4 pi square mek square into n square by z. This z stands for atomic number. N can be 1, 2, 3, etc. And moreover, radius of the Bohr orbits is also discussed over here. It is 5.29 into 10 power minus 11 meter n square by z, depending upon which atom you are considering. Okay. The Bohr model of an atom, of the hydrogen atom, assumptions are there. Number one, stationary states in which orbiting electrons do not radiate energy. When the electrons are going round and round, they will not radiate energy. Exist in atoms and have well defined energies. En. Transitions can occur between them, yielding light of energy. So, whenever electrons are transiting from one orbit to the other, lower to the higher, then only there is possible of either emission or absorption of energy. Classification. Classical laws of physics do not apply to transition between stationary states, but they do not apply elsewhere also. Number three is important point for chemistry. Okay, the angular momentum of the nth state, it is nh, where n is called the principal quantum number. This angular momentum is quantized. It is in terms of integral whole number. Okay, it is quantized. It cannot be a fraction. So these were some assumptions made to explain and understand the Bohr model of the hydrogen atom. Now the word quantum, quantized is coming again and again. Let us try to understand this word quantum. Okay, now look at this. What is quantized energy? Let us see. Continuous energy is like a ramp. This is continuous. Continuous energy is like a ramp. But quantized energy is like a staircase. Okay, definite packets. Each stair increases the energy by the value of Planck's
Can't hear
constant.
you.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Okay. Now, please mute yourselves. Please mute yourselves. Please mute yourselves and listen carefully. Then you can hear me. I can hear the background noise. Mute yourself. Okay. Now have a look over there very carefully. The quantized energy. Just read that. Okay. Let's get back to it. Quantized energy. Now, as I've told you, continuous energy is like a ramp. This is a ramp. So, whenever you are climbing a ramp, that is not quantized. But when you are walking up a staircase or down a staircase, that is called quantized. Okay, so quantized energy is like a staircase. Each stair increases the energy by the value of a constant which is called Planck's constant, 6.63 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joules second. And the energy for each staircase, each level you are rising is given by this formula. E is equal to h v. Small v is frequency, f is also frequency. It is the same thing. Now, the difference between continuous and quantized energy levels has been illustrated in this diagram also. This one is continuous energy levels, whereas this one is quantized energy levels. Okay, now here the quantization of energy refers to the fact that at subatomic levels, energy is best thought of as occurring in discrete packets called photons. The packets of energy are called photons. Like paper money, photons come in different denominations. Money, therefore, is quantized. It only comes in discrete amounts. So remember that. So that is all about quantized energy, which I have explained in this slide. Now, have a look at the other slide. The advantages, the merits of Bohr's model of an atom. The Bohr's model of an atom explains the stability of an atom. Why it is stable. It is explaining that. Then, number 2, the Bohr's model of an atom, it helps us to know the energy of an electron in a particular orbit by applying this formula. En, particular orbit, is equal to
So cannot
minus.
hear anything.
So we can't hear you.
Your network is not good, I think. Check your network. My network is good enough. My network is full. Okay. I can hear the background noise. I can hear the background noise. Just check your network. Can you hear? Can you hear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So just now only.
Okay. Now I go back to the previous slide. Okay. I go back to the previous slide. Over here. The Bohr's. Please mute yourselves first. Please mute yourselves. Okay. The Bohr's model of hydrogen atom, which you can see. This is the diagram for the Bohr's model of hydrogen atom. Okay, where in the center is the nucleus. Please mute yourselves. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let us continue. Now, Bohr's model of hydrogen atom. Somebody is not. Somebody has not turned off your mic. Please mute yourselves. I can hear the background noise. Please mute yourselves. Can you all hear me? Okay, boys. Boys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. No.
Where is that noise coming from?
So
Where is
it's
that?
coming from your account only.
No, no, it is not coming mine because here everything is quiet. I am in a
So I
room
think it's
alone.
the account logged in from school.
Huh?
I think it is the account logged in from school.
No, no, it is not logged in from school. I'm using my laptop over here. Okay, good.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay, now there is no noise, no background noise, not that because somebody had kept the mic open in the school only, on only. Okay, I think it was either Mr. Kadir or the computer teacher. Okay, never mind. Okay, let us proceed. Let us proceed with the chapter. Okay, now I was sharing the screen, the Bohr's model of an atom. Can you see the screen? Can you all see the screen? Okay, good. So let's come back to
Yes, sir.
Bohr's model of an atom. Now, whenever an electron is revolving around the nucleus, it is moving in a circular fashion, so angular momentum is detected. And this angular momentum is quantized. The symbol for angular momentum is Ln. Formula is mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. Okay. So radius of an electron in the nth orbit is given by this formula. And the radii for Bohr orbitals, it is given by this formula. Rn is equal to 5.29 10 power minus 11 meter into n square by z. This z stands for Samir Bhayo. Thank you. And this z stands for the atomic number. Okay. Now, if you look at the assumptions of the Bohr model of hydrogen atom, the first one is stationary states in which orbiting electrons do not radiate energy, exist in atoms and have well defined energies. En. Transitions can occur between them, yielding light of energy, photons. Okay, that's why E is equal to En minus En2, that is H nu, HV. Now, this is not applicable for chemistry. Number three, the angular moment of the nth state angular momentum, where n is called the principal quantum number, it is always quantized according to the assumptions of the Bohr's model of hydrogen atom. Now, if you look at the next slide over here, on the next slide, I have tried to explain you the quantized energy. Now, continuous energy is like a ramp, which is not quantized. But if you talk about a staircase, quantized energy is like a staircase. Each stair increases the energy by the value of Planck's constant, and the value of Planck's constant is 6.63 into 10 power minus 34 joules second, and this energy is equal to hf or h small v. Okay, so this is quantized energy levels. Okay, and this is continuous, this one is quantized. Now, looking at the quantization of energy, it refers to the fact that at subatomic levels, energy is best thought of as occurring in discrete packets, which are called photons. So, energy in this theory, it is called as photons. Like paper money, which are using in today's life, photons come in different denominations: 1n, 2n, 3n, and so on. Money, therefore, is quantized. It only comes in discrete amounts. So, that is the meaning of quantization of energy. Then, moving to the merits of the Bohr's model. The Bohr's model, it explains the stability of an atom. That is one important point to understand. Because when an electron over here, this fellow Bohr's model, it could successfully explain the stability of an atom. Now, according to this theory, an electron neither gains nor loses energy while moving in a particular shell. So that is how the stability of an atom has been explained. Then, energy of an electron in a particular orbit can be given by this formula. En is equal to minus 2 pi square m mass of the electron, E charge of the electron to the power of 4 atomic number divided by n square, the principal quantum number, Planck's constant 4 pi epsilon 0. This is epsilon 0. Okay, this is called permittivity of free space. This is under whole square. That has been simplified further to minus 13.6 z square by n square electron volts. Okay, so just try to keep this formula in your mind, just not to learn it by heart, but this is a formula which will be asked in the objective multiple choice questions, where I will be giving a number of such similar formula. We will have to choose the correct one for the energy of an electron in a particular orbit. Moreover, the third merit is, by this Bohr's model of an atom, the radius of a particular orbit can also be calculated by this formula. Radius of an orbit is equal to n square h square by 4 pi square m e square into 1 by z, and this one is Bohr's radius over here. Okay, where n stands for principal quantum number of orbit and z is the atomic number. Moreover, the fourth merit is, the Bohr's model of hydrogen atom explains atomic spectrum of hydrogen also. Okay, so these are the advantages or merits of the Bohr's model. Now, moving to the spectral series of hydrogen. In our next slide, you can see over here, this one is Lyman, Lyman. I discussed about Lyman in today's morning class, that is Lyman. Then we have Balmer, over here BA, Balmer, visible region. Then Paschen, bracket, P fund. Okay, so these are the various spectral series which are seen when there is emission of electromagnetic radiation when hydrogen molecule is subjected to electrical sparks. Okay. Now, if you look at the formula, the Balmer formula, which you have already seen, some numericals has been done in the morning class over here today. 1 by lambda is equal to wave number is equal to r 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square, where this is the wave number, lambda is the wavelength, and Rydberg constant is 109677 or 75 or 76. Everything is taken into consideration. Now this will give us a better idea. For the Lyman series, n1 is 1, n2 is 2, 3, 4, etc. It falls under the ultraviolet region, which I have explained you in the morning class only. Now moving further to the next slide, the most important thing over here is limitations of the Bohr's atomic model. What are the limitations? Okay. Now, the Bohr's model of hydrogen atom is considered as an improvement over Rutherford's nuclear model because it accounts for the stability of atom or ion. Limitation of Bohr's atomic model are as follows, point-wise. Number 1. Bohr's atomic model failed to explain the atomic spectrum of atoms other than hydrogen atom. That means if you take elements other than hydrogen, higher elements, maybe nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, chlorine and all, it is not being able to explain. This Bohr's model of atom is not being going to explain the atomic spectrum of other higher atoms. Okay. Then number 2, Bohr's model could not give better explanation of hydrogen spectrum because it could not explain the spectrum when two spectral lines are very close to each other, whenever there is a doublet. So this could not be explained by the Bohr's model of atom. So this is the second disadvantage or limitation. Moreover, point number 3, it failed to explain Zeeman effect, that is splitting of spectral lines under the influence of magnetic fields. So if you bring a magnetic field when the spectral lines are seen, those spectral lines undergo splitting, and that splitting is called Zeeman effect. So why this splitting is occurring was not being able to explain by the Bohr's atomic model. Okay. Then moreover, number 4, it could not explain the ability of atoms to form molecule by chemical bonds. That means whether it is a covalent bond or an ionic bond, this was not successfully explained by the Bohr's model of an atom. Now, the defects in the Bohr's model led to the outcome of the quantum mechanical model of an atom. That is why today's world, today, we have quantum mechanics or quantum mechanical model of an atom, which we'll be studying in our next slide over here. Now, have a look at the next slide. The quantum mechanical model of an atom, it is also called wave mechanical model of an atom, and this is the modern concept of structure of atom which we still study today. 1s orbitals. 1s orbital. It is a cloud. You can see it is a cloud. It is a cloud. Okay. 2s orbital. This one, green one, the dark green one. Below that there is a node. Empty space. This is the empty space. Okay. Then there is 3s orbital. 3s orbital. Okay. And there are nodes. Empty space here. Empty space over here. So this concept has been explained by the quantum mechanical model of an atom, where now the electrons are believed to be present in an electron cloud. Electron cloud. The probability of finding an electron around the nucleus is the electron cloud. Okay. So let us move to the next slide. Now, before jumping straight away into the quantum mechanical model of an atom, let us first understand the following two things. The first one is dual nature of electrons by the de Broglie's hypothesis. The second one is Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, which states that the position and momentum, it is not possible for us to determine exactly the position and momentum of a moving subatomic particle at the same time. If you determine one thing, other one you can't determine. Okay, so that is the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Now, once we are able to understand these two, then only we will understand the mechanical model of an atom properly. Okay. Now, moving further to our next slide, into number 1, which is de Broglie's hypothesis. In quantum mechanics, Any object can behave both like wave particle duality at the submicroscopic level. Now, what is wave particle duality? Now, a particle can behave like a wave also, and as well as a particle carrying mass also. Okay, so an object can both and can act as both wave also, and a particle at the same time. This is the hypothesis given by de Broglie, okay, and it is called wave particle duality. So the object would have energy packets, that is momentum, wavelength, frequency, and amplitude. By using photoelectric effect and Compton effect, we can easily describe about the wave particle duality. That means particles which are behaving like both waves as well as particle at the same time. Okay. Now, looking at the de Broglie's equation, wavelength of matter waves, over here lambda is equal to h by mv. This equation is called de Broglie's equation, where this lambda which you can see, it is called de Broglie's wavelength. H is a constant which is called Planck's constant, 6.626 10 power minus 34 joule second. M, small m, is the mass of the particle, okay, and this v, small v, is the velocity of the moving particle. So this was the equation given by de Broglie after concluding that subatomic particles, they can behave like a wave also, they can behave like a particle also. So hence the dual nature of electrons has been explained by de Broglie, where electron is both particle like and wave like at the same time. Previous model considered only particle like nature of the electron, means the Bohr's model did not consider the wave like nature of the electron subatomic particle. So that was de Broglie's equation. Okay, now moving to some numericals over here. These numericals are very direct formula based numericals. If you look at the first problem over here, the first problem, calculate the mass of a photon with wavelength 3.6 angstrom. So lambda is 3.6 angstrom, 3.6 in 10 power minus 10 meter. Velocity of the photon is equal to velocity of light. So we apply this formula, lambda is equal to mh by mv. No, so mass is equal to h by lambda v. So this Planck's constant is 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 joule second divided by lambda is given over here 3.6 into 10 power minus 10 into speed of light, speed of the photon. So upon simplification you get the answer in kilograms. Okay, then the next problem is over here. What is the de Broglie wavelength of a 50 kg person? He is traveling at 15 meter per second, 15 meters in 1 second. That means, running quite at a very high speed. The Planck's constant is given, comparable to spacing, okay, and applying the formula, lambda is equal to h by p or h by mv, direct application of formula. So these are the type of problems which will be asked in your examination, whether it is the second term examination or your final term examination or the council based examination. Okay, so this was number 2. Okay, so please go through them carefully. Then we have one more problem. Find the de Broglie wavelength of an electron with a speed of 1 into 10 power of 6 meter per second. So electron mass is given already, Planck's constant is given already. So direct application of formula again over here. Lambda is equal to h by mv. This is velocity. Okay, so put the values, you get the value of the wavelength. Okay, to check the order of magnitude and units seems correct. Okay, that is very important. You have to keep the units in meters. If you're getting the answer in meters, everything has to be converted in meters. Okay, so this is how you get the answer. Okay, now the order is over here 10 to the power of minus 9 meter. Okay, this you can leave it out for the moment, but answer is still here only. Okay, now it is already time up. I wasted a lot of time today, but in the next class tomorrow I have got a class with you in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth period. Okay, fifth period means 11:20 to 12 o'clock. Tomorrow I'll be explaining you Heisenberg's uncertainty principle in much more detail. Okay, so for the moment just hang on over there only. Let me take the attendance and then you can leave and end the class. Okay, boys? Okay, I am downloading the attendance. It is downloaded. So now we may leave or end the class. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you.